After testing out pretty much every driver released within the last 6 months, there are two that really stand out: the Callaway Rogue drivers and the TaylorMade Stealth series. TaylorMade have actually introduced something new into these drivers, so the carbon face, which they are calling the beginning of the carbon wood age. Callaway with the Rogue ST series, well, let's be honest about it, apart from whacking a tungsten cartridge on the back of this driver, there is nothing new. However, when testing these drivers out, the performance has been fantastic. I was actually shocked at how forgiving the driver was, awarding the Rogue ST Max the unofficial most forgiving driver in sports, supplanting the Ping G425 Max, which I didn't think could be done. And now I finally have them both in the spec that I want. So I've got them in the lofts, I've got the shafts that I want, and I've got my grips on these clubs as well. Now, oddly, for a driver comparison, these are not in exactly the same spec. So I have the Stealth Plus at slightly below 8 degrees at 7.5, while I've got the Rogue ST at 8 degrees. The shaft in the Rogue is an X-Stiff, but it's 70 grams, while it's an X-Stiff and 60 grams in the Stealth. Very simply, this is just the best spec that I found in these two drivers for me that give the best performance. Remember, different drivers do require different specs. Don't just think that you could go from a 9 degree G425 Max and go into a 9 degree Stealth Plus, for example. It just doesn't work like that. I'm excited to see what the differences are going to be. Make sure you get down and wallop that like button if you're excited as well. But there's also something else. I have a mystery driver arriving today that might even be a contender against these two. Stay tuned to see what that is. So I've been using TaylorMade drivers for the last 3-4 years now, and overall I absolutely love the performance. I think TaylorMade make really good big sticks. Well, that was as genre-y a swing as I could possibly do. And if you want to see the full review of the TaylorMade Stealth drivers, please check it out here. And the way they've been chatting about this carbon wood age and this carbon face, I don't think that TaylorMade are going to be sticking with this type of technology for the next 6 to 8 years. Mark it down here, 6 to 8 years. Stamp. The Stealth Plus is the lower spinning version. It's designed just to launch it high and to get it bombing down the fairway. Whereas the Rogue series seems to be more about, yes, speed, yes, distance, but also forgiveness. When the Rogue came out, I was thoroughly underwhelmed at some of the claims that it was making. For a review on the Rogue ST Max, please check out this video here. They explain how they've changed the AI face just slightly. They've also tweaked the jailbreak technology. They've put this tungsten speed cartridge on the back of the club. So in other words, they brought all their existing technology to bear on this driver and just enhanced it, which is great, but it's a hard selling point without that real key technological difference that the TaylorMade has. This Callaway Rogue ST driver is a little bit more neutral at setup. It's a lower spinning version than the Rogue ST Max as well. So both these drivers really do offer something different. So on looks, now I think both these drivers do feature a lot of carbon. They both have very distinctive carbon crowns. For me, I think the TaylorMade Stealth still plumps it. This might be a little bit of ongoing favoritism maybe, because I have used TaylorMade drivers quite some time and I do like the shape. The matte finish on top of the Callaway, however, has been growing on me. Still not a massive fan of this graphic on the back, but yeah, it doesn't make me want to be physically ill. Now, sound and feel are very much interlinked with a golfer's psyche, and I have to say, I think the Rogue is probably just edging it over the Stealth. Again, you know, I've used titanium face drivers pretty much all of my golfing life, apart from when I was a junior and I had a Callaway Big Bertha. Thank you. Steel heads, that's how old I am. But also, again, maybe this is a hangover from the review that I did of the Rogue Max. I mean, it's just really forgiving and sounds and feels powerful on off-center strikes. Now, the price on these, there is a bit of a difference. So the Callaway Rogue, that comes in at £430, whilst the TaylorMade Stealth Plus comes in at $499. So if performance is similar, again, you've got to plump for the Rogue. But of course, it's not just about that, it is about the performance. So let's get the data and let's see which one comes out on top. Now we come down to it. Data on data. Rogue ST LS versus Stealth. From now on, this is just going to be called the LS, okay? Now, what I'm expecting to find in the data, if previous testing is anything to go by, the Rogue should be more forgiving, maybe should be a little bit more accurate, and the Stealth should be longer. If the Max LS is super accurate and it's only 10 yards shorter than the Stealth, for example, then it's obvious that this one should go in. If the Stealth is by far the better driver, then that's staying. But of course, we also have the mystery driver. So let's have a look at the results between the Rogue ST Max LS and the TaylorMade Stealth Plus. So with these numbers, I took out the two best and the two worst drives from all the shots hit. Carry distance with the Stealth Plus was at 304, with total distance at 330, where carry with the Callaway was at 300 with a total distance of 318. Ball speed a little bit higher with the TaylorMade Stealth, but at times the Stealth Plus spin was very low. And that is one of the issues when you get out onto the golf course. If it's a low spinning driver and you don't catch it well, it's going to drop out the air much quicker. However, Callaway have also brought out another driver which has literally just arrived in the office. When you thought that driver names from Callaway could not get more complicated, this is the Callaway Rogue ST Triple Black Diamond LS. I'm just going to call this the Triple Diamond driver from now on, if that's okay. The main differences between this driver and your standard Rogue ST Max or your ST Max LS, there is a weight further forward towards the club face. Now this moves CG further forward, drives hit with the Triple Black Diamond should spin less. But I'm going to set this to 8 degrees, so the same that I've been testing with the normal Callaway ST Rogue Max LS. Seriously? What can we call this, Jacob? What can we call the driver? Max LS? Yeah. Max LS. So we should get a really good comparison. It's going to be the same shaft as well. I have a real sneaky feeling about this driver. This is the one that Jon Rahm is using and most of the tour players. It's just got a little bit more of that fade bias as well. It doesn't look quite as towed in. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this performs. So here we go, Triple Black Diamond. And I've set the driver up pretty much exactly the same as the LS. So we're at 8 degrees, we've got a neutral lie. But actually, when you set this club down, it does look more open. It does look a little bit more Stealth Plusy, if that makes sense. And I feel that this is a driver that will be going straight. The question is this driver going to compete with the Stealth on distance? Because remember, driving is about distance. You can be a little bit offline. As long as you're not in the water out of bounds, being longer is better than being shorter. So once more, I've taken out the two worst and the two best drives, and I am left with probably one of the most consistent sets of data that I've ever had from a driver. Spin rate is pretty much exactly where I want it, averaging out at 2,100. I didn't have one climb above 2,300, and that was with a dodgy strike. Carry was 305, and total distance was 327. So slightly more carry than the TaylorMade, slightly less run out. However, I'm going to show you the two dispersion patterns here side by side. And you can see that just the consistency of the flight with the Triple Diamond was unbelievable. And for me, one of the scariest things about the Triple Black Diamond, I hit a few really well, but a lot of these were slightly off center. I have absolutely no doubt that this driver is one I'm going to be the most confident with. So this is the one going in the bag. If you do want to check out the rest of my what's in the bag, make sure you check this video out here. Get down into those comments below, let us know what you think about these drivers, and we'll see you next time.